Hello and welcome to the very first lesson all about the present perfect tense. The present perfect tense has many different meanings, but for today we're going to focus on the present perfect tense for general life experience. So let's have a look at these sentences. I've watched Stranger Things. She hasn't read any books in Spanish. Have you visited Australia? So we use the present perfect tense when we want to talk about or ask about something in the past that happened at some time in the past or at any time in the past. The exact time is not important. It is not the focus when we use the present perfect tense. We use the present perfect tense to express the idea that from the time you were born until the present, you have or haven't done something. So, I've watched Stranger Things means that from the time I was born until the present, I watched it at some point, at some time. The focus is on now, in the present. I have the experience of watching Stranger Things. I know what happens in the series. I understand the story. Okay, she hasn't read any books in Spanish. That means that from the time she was born until the present, she didn't ever read a book in Spanish. At no time has she read a book in Spanish. So now in the present, she doesn't have this experience. And when I ask, have you visited Australia? What I'm asking is, do you have the experience of being to Australia? So my focus is not on the specific time an action happened. My focus is on present experience and how that creates the person you are today. When we are talking about or asking about general life experience, it's very common for us to use the adverbs ever and never. Ever means at any time in your life. Have you ever been to France? Okay, it's very common to use ever in the question form to ask about someone's general life experience. And then in the response, if it is something you haven't done, you can say, no, I've never been to France. Never means at no time in your life. Okay, so now that you understand the meaning a bit better, let's have a look at the structure. So let's look at this example. I've watched Stranger Things. We have the subject, I, and then the auxiliary verb have, okay, with third person singular subjects, so he, she, it, we use has, okay, and we contract these forms. I've, you've, we've, they've, she's, he's, it's. Okay, in this case, the apostrophe S is she has, he has, it has, plus the past participle. So I've watched Stranger Things. He's watched Stranger Things. Now let's look at she hasn't read any books in Spanish. For the negative form, we have subject plus hasn't. With I, you, we, they, we use haven't, plus the past participle. To create the question form, we have to change the auxiliary and the subject. So, have you visited Australia? Has she visited Australia? Have or has plus subject plus past participle. So, to practice using this structure, answer these questions. What series have you watched? What movies have you watched? What countries have you visited? What subjects have you studied? And what books have you read? See you next time. Bye.